Name is Gary Templeman Rooke, born in Cleethorpes in England, and migrated out here in 1959. I decided I wanted to go to Australia, and we looked it up, found the Big Brother movement, went to Australia House and organised it, and went down to Tilbury Docks. Oh, Mum dressed me up. She thought it would be wonderful, where she had me all dressed up with a little hat and a jacket and riding boots and things like that. Mum and Dad put me on the boat, goodbye, and that was it. I'm on the way. Then we moved on the ship, and officially I landed in Australia, and that was where I went through customs. And I didn't have a passport. I only had a document identity. And that was nearly my ending, but later on in life. But we just loaded onto a bus, and we taken out to Fairfield, to the farm. And it was interesting to do milk the cows and feed the chooks and all the usual farm things. And they were good people, nice. And we had a bet, all the guys, who would be the furthest away from the city. And I ended up getting the prize because I was out past Walgett. The guy came along and said to me, "We've got the job for you. You can't go to Tasmania like you wanted to do apple orchards, but we've got a job up in the country." Okay, so I went with him. He took me down to the station, put me on the train, and said, "When you get to a place called Narrabri, wait there, and another train will come along. It's like a bus on wheels type train, and that will take you around to where you're going to go." And then they got this little tiny bus type train, and told me to get off at a certain spot. When I got off there was no station. It was just a platform and a tin shed. I thought, God, what have I done? And then the train left, and I'm sitting here looking around, and it's bush as far as I can see everywhere, not just bush. And I'm thinking, I wonder what I've done. Where am I going to go? I've got no water, I've got no food, I've just got my suitcase. But sure enough, about another hour later, another dust pal came along. A guy came up in a Jeep, and he was enormous, about 6'4", built like this. And he said, "Yeah, hop in the Jeep, I'll take it." I got a bit disappointed after I was here for a while. I didn't mind Carmsley Hill because I'm used to it. I was boarding school. So living in our bunkhouse with 8 or 12 other boys was no problem. Working as a team was no problem. But when I left there and went out to the first property to work on, was way out in the west near Walgett, after living a middle-class life and then living in a shed, basically, in a machine shed. I had a little section cut off that I lived in. Next to me was a food store. Next to that was a stable for keeping a horse in, and I was there. And then in the morning I had to be very careful, look underneath the bed, make sure there's no snakes, because they came for the mice that had the wheat and the grain. And then there was the spiders that came along as well for the insects. So I had lots of company. Anyway, I stayed there for about maybe 18 months, I think. So for a month, it was a bit strange, a bit tough for me. I wasn't used to that, being English, middle class. Goodness. But I got used to it, I suppose. I got to love Australia after a few years, but no, it wasn't such a bad idea. It was actually pretty good. Don't want to go back. I couldn't bear the thought of going back to England. The rain and the cold. Oh no, I don't want to do that anymore. So I never went back to England for about 25 years, and that was only just on holiday. Yeah, so I was Australian by then. Wasn't a pommy jackaroo anymore.